Hello YouTube, we're back again with another Neverness to Everness video. This time it's gonna be a quick review. I've been a little bit obsessed with some driving games on just my thoughts on the Porsche as a Pendragon owner. Now obviously, as you guys know, Pendragon is 12 million fawns. The Porsche, obviously you could roll with gacha currency, but you can also get with fawns, but it does end up being quite a bit more than the Pendragon. I guess for me, I was all really interested in whether or not, as someone who owned the Pendragon, if the Porsche was going to be a strict upgrade. Let me actually whip both of these out here. If I call out my Pendragon here, right? If you guys don't know, my the Pendragon was actually the fastest car before the Porsche came out. With the Porsche's release, the Pendragon technically is the second fastest now. But the caveat is, something that you will see as you upgrade the Porsche is that the Porsche actually does not have all-terrain tires. It definitely is not as grippy in my experience as the Pendragon. The Pendragon, I think, does much better on turns, especially sharp turns, versus the Porsche. Now, I will say, though, I think the Porsche is much better at specifically doing drifting, but in terms of racing and actual courses, I feel like the Pendragon's modifications are just straight up better. So if you're going against, in my opinion, someone who isn't the greatest driver, right, and they're gonna make bad turns and not follow racing lines as well, right, I feel like the Pendragon is already a very good choice for you to, like, at least guarantee top 2 in most races, you know? Now, the issue with the Pendragon is that it doesn't have the acceleration that the Porsche does, right? Like, you can see here, I'm getting to 200 kilometers per hour, getting pretty fast, but, like, the acceleration is not really there. So if I start from here, let's see how long it takes me to accelerate to 202 kilometers per hour. It actually takes me quite a bit, all the way to that sign back there. Let's just say it takes all the way to getting to Clicky, right? The Clicky Burger place. So if I swap to my Porsche, you'll see just how much faster the Porsche is actually able to get to its top speed, or just faster than the Pendragon. So let me switch this up. Boom. Pull the Porsche out. No, I actually didn't. Oh, what? Rude. There you go. We got the Porsche. I did not know the other cars stay out there. Alright. So, here we go. We are ready. You see that? So obviously we hit the max speed of 221 there, but we already passed the 202 of the Pendragons, like well before. Like, it was like way back here, and we had already passed 202, and we jumped up to 220, like really, really fast. So as you can see, the acceleration at the top end on the Porsche is insane, but it really is not the best in terms of turns. It could obviously, it might not be specifically because the tires are as grippy, right? It could entirely be because the car is just much faster. So maybe with the right amount of braking and releasing of the throttle, you might be able to, you know, on average, outperform the Pendragon quite easily, right? I think like, from my experience with having queued racing with the Porsche, is that I think if you're a better driver, the Porsche is without a doubt just 10 times better. But if you're, like, not that good at driving, and you're, like, you know, might not be the best at handling, I definitely think the Pendragon might be the go-to. So something you will notice, right, specifically with these cars, is let's see if I could look at the modification through here. Yeah, so if you see the if I go to the modification place, right, I'm gonna be showing you one thing, the main thing being that the Porsche does not have all-terrain tires. It only has the options of rain or snow. And in my experience from testing it out, I actually found just the stock tires to actually be a better modification to sit on rather than having any specifically rain or specific snow tires. Because obviously they both have their own shortfalls. So the Porsche, you don't have that extra fourth option of all-terrain tires that the Pendragon does. You can see here, right? The Pendragon has the fourth option of all-terrain, which is really, really nice. This is an all-terrain solution known for its superior quality. It really, really helps for traction. Really, really good for making those turns. So I do wonder if maybe in the future they'll give us all-terrain tires for the Porsche. But as of now, with the Porsche's speed and with like the lack of all-terrain tires, it kind of makes it feel like maybe the Porsche might not be the best option if you are not the best at racing or handling your car. As long as you are pretty confident in your racing capabilities, the Porsche is a absolute no-brainer just because of its speed upgrade, right? And on specific maps where there aren't that many turns, the Porsche is just ridiculously dominant, right? But some of those maps where there are tight turns, especially the one with the obstacles, right? Sometimes that Pendragon does feel a lot better just because it is grippier, right? That is something I would say you should keep your mind on. Obviously, you know, the Porsche has its price as well, the Pendragon just being much cheaper than the Porsche. But, oh, I guess there's the other thing. The Pendragon gives you a limited edition license plate. I don't really know what the upper limit currently is for global. Right? I don't know if we have gotten all the limited license plates, but there's no way we have, right? So there is still that limited edition license plate that might be well worth getting compared to the Porsche, which doesn't actually give you a limited edition license plate. So you're just getting what you're getting. You're not really getting anything special. So that is a bit of a thing to be mindful of. But that's pretty much my thoughts so far on the Porsche versus the Pendragon. Basically, the TLDR is, in my opinion, the Pendragon is much, much grippier thanks to its all-terrain tire, and maybe partly thanks to the fact that it doesn't drive as fast. But the Porsche, with its insane acceleration ability, kind of just can blow the Pendragon out of water. Like, it's kind of insane. So in that regard, maybe it's maybe it's a no-brainer to just get the Porsche, right? So that's just my summary on the Porsche versus Pendragon. Let me know what your thoughts are on the vehicles, or maybe you know what other vehicles that you wish come out next in Neverness to Everness. I don't know about you guys. Some of the most fun I have in this game is tied to the racing and other mini games. I'm sure you guys have tried out the new Mario Kart-like mini game as well. I find it extremely fun. Now, obviously, it was a little buggy in the beginning when it first came out. I don't know if they fixed some of that stuff. There were a lot of server issues early on. I heard there were reports of a lot of desyncing, but hopefully it's gotten better. That is another thing I will say. I don't know if it's still true, but in the first day or so of the server going up with the Porsche, every time I ran into a Porsche driver, they were teleporting non-stop. Very, very laggy. Versus the Pendragon where they were not teleporting at all. So I don't know if the server tick rate wasn't refreshed for us how fast the Porsche is or something like that. So hopefully they fixed all that. And yeah, that's gonna be it for us today. Thank you guys for watching another quick NTE guide. I don't know, I've been obsessed with driving games. If you guys don't know, I've been driving in Forza non-stop, learning how to drift. I'm actually trying to learn how to drift in NTE as well, like consistently. I don't know if it's doable or if all you can do is quick drifts, right? But we'll see. And I'm actually looking into a way to hook up my wheel so I could use it to drive in NTE as well. So if you guys want to see some of that content in the future, definitely tune into my Twitch streams at twitch.tv/vaultmaster. We're live 3:30 p.m. Pacific to whenever I decide to end every single day, 365 days of the year. That's going to do it for us. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.